Our priority is obviously to get it sorted. We will, within 3 months, negotiate a credible leave option with the European Union, and within 6 months put that to a referendum of the British people to decide between that option of leaving whilst protecting jobs and trade and the Good Friday Agreement with Europe, or remaining as full members of the European Union. That will be the choice put before the British people. What we know of the government's proposals, what we know of what Mr Johnson has done, is a series of secret meetings with the United States in which they were proposing to open up our NHS markets, as they call them, to American companies. Freedom of Information Act request was made in order to find out what happened at these meetings. That's what happened at these meetings. Every single line of this document redacted out. A document here of US-UK negotiations, summary of specific negotiating objectives, full
Johnson.
Market access for US products to our National Health Service. You're going to sell
Johnson,
our National Health Service out to the United States and Big Pharma. Trust is something that has to be earned, and as a public representative, you have to listen to the people that elected you in the first place, and you have to listen to people all over the country in all walks of life. I spend a great deal of time travelling around the country, listening to people, be they chief executives, workers, people sweeping the street, or the homeless. Everybody you meet knows something you don't know. Leadership is about listening to people, trying to put their ideas into practice, and finally come to a decision in which you can take a country and our society forward. My style of leadership is actually to listen to people and try and bring consensus together in my own party and obviously within Parliament. Because the issues we face of division in our society do have to be conquered. They're not going to be conquered by diktat, but only by listening and taking us forward that way. I think we have to represent people, take decisions and be honest with people about why you're taking the decisions that you are and how to bring people together. My whole strategy on Brexit has been to recognise whether you voted Remain and live in a private rented accommodation and in Port and in London, voted Leave and you live in the north and are in the same situation, your issues are the same. The problems of poverty, inequality and division within our society. Bring people together, don't divide them. I think we've been very clear on our policies in relation to Europe. I think we're also very clear on all the other policies that will be unveiled in our manifesto on Thursday, and they will be accompanied by a fully costed grey book with it. So every pledge we make will be fully funded, because I believe the British people deserve that knowledge, deserve to know what we're going to do, and deserve a government that is actually not going to preside over rising homelessness, increasing inequality and chaos in the NHS. Instead, they're going to invest in the future of this country. Anti-Semitism is an absolute evil and scourge within our society. Racism in any form is a scourge in our society. I have taken action in my party where anyone has committed any anti-Semitic acts or made any anti-Semitic statements. They are either suspended or expelled from the party, and we've investigated every single case. We do take this very, very seriously indeed, because I do not want to live in a society where racism is rife. I understand and recognise the history, the desperate history of the Jewish people in the 20th century, which came about from an unrestriction of anti-Semitism in the 1920s. We've got to stand up against racism in any form in our society. A&E performance is now at its worst ever. There are 4 million people waiting for operations. There are all the vacancies that have not been filled within the NHS. The Health and Social Care Act allows the privatisation of services. And indeed, we have the nonsense of our National Health Service being taken to court by private operators because they didn't get contracts from it. Let's end the privatisation within the NHS and instead have a fully funded NHS for all people. We've had austerity for 9 years in this country. We've had a growth of billionaires in this country. We've had a growth of extreme poverty in this country. We've had a growth of personal debt from people trying to look after children, look after older people. I think the first thing has to be an increase in wages by having a £10 an hour living wage for all people, an end to 0 hours an end to zero-hours contracts, and an investment strategy across the country that does give us an increase in manufacturing jobs all across Britain, which we're not having at the present time. I think this election is a turning point in the way in which we're going to manage our economy in the future. We will end austerity. I'm absolutely clear about that. Yes, because it's been so brutal on the lives of so many people. We will, over a parliament, increase corporation tax to around the levels it was in 2010 in order to reinvest properly in education, in order to pay for the ending of university tuition fees, to give every student a decent chance of going to university and life. And we will start to redress the grotesque levels of imbalance in our society. We're a society of billionaires and the very poor, neither of which are right. Your voice must be heard. If you haven't registered to vote, please go online and do it now. This is a once-in-a-generation election to end privatisation and give the National Health Service the funding it needs, to give people the final say and get Brexit sorted, to tackle the climate emergency that threatens our futures, to invest in good jobs in every region and nation of our country. I ask that you vote for hope and vote for Labour on the 12th of December.